In a city where a child's public meltdown could bring shame to an entire family, Japanese parents use a technique nearly invisible to outsiders: no bribes, no punishments, just 60 unbroken seconds of calm. Western experts have only started to question why Japanese children rarely lose control in public. The answer is not a quick fix. It is the legacy of centuries-old expectations, and what happens next reveals more about cultural roots than any viral trend. Centuries before neon lights flooded Tokyo, Japanese families taught children to weather the storms inside themselves. In the Edo period, samurai families embraced an ideal called shikata ganai, which means it cannot be helped. This was not resignation, it was training in acceptance. Children learned early that frustration and disappointment were part of life, not something to fight or display. The samurai code, captured in the 18th century Hagakure, praised composure as the highest form of discipline. Outward calm was not just for warriors, it shaped daily family life. By the late 1800s, as Japan opened its doors to the West, the Meiji government set out to modernize. Schools became the new training ground for self-control. Moral education, known as shushin, was woven into lessons, teaching children to consider the feelings of others and to hold back personal impulses for the good of the group. Harmony, called gubui, became the invisible glue holding classrooms and families together. Grandmother Keiko, born before the war, remembers her mother's quiet presence in crowded markets. If a child grew restless, there was no scolding, only a gentle hand and a shared silence. The message was clear: composure is not an act, it is a duty. These values, passed down through generations, set the stage for the subtle rituals seen in Japanese parenting today. The roots of public calm run deep, anchored in a culture where losing control means losing face, not just for the child, but for the entire family. Rush hour in Tokyo means bodies pressed shoulder to shoulder on silent trains, every movement measured and deliberate. In public, a child's outburst isn't just noise, it's a breach of an unspoken contract. For Japanese parents, the concept of omoyari, deep empathy for others, guides every action. A mother senses not just her child's distress, but the ripple it sends through the crowd. The shame of disrupting harmony does not fall on the child alone. It lands squarely on the family, especially the mother, whose reputation is bound to her child's composure. Urban density turns every outing into a public test. In a city where space is scarce, strangers become silent witnesses, and even a single wail can feel amplified. Social etiquette posters in subway stations remind families to keep voices low and bodies contained. Preschool teachers reinforce this daily, asking children to imagine how their actions affect friends nearby. Parents absorb these expectations almost unconsciously, dropping everything to kneel beside a restless toddler, offering a steady presence rather than a quick fix. Keiko remembers the weight of those eyes in the market stalls of post-war Tokyo. A mother's calm was not just for her child, it was a shield against the embarrassment of being singled out. In this environment, public composure is more than personal virtue, it is a form of social currency, quietly exchanged in every crowded street and train car. The pressure to maintain harmony shapes not just how parents respond, but why they act at all. A mother in Tokyo bends her knees, lowering herself until her eyes meet her child's. The noise of the station fades, replaced by a silence that feels deliberate, almost protective. In that first moment, nothing is said. The child's fists are clenched, breath quick and shallow, but the adult stays close, her body language soft and unhurried. This simple act, matching the child's height, removes any sense of looming authority. The child's nervous system, wired to scan for threats, registers safety instead. For a few seconds, there is only presence. No rush to speak, no attempt to distract or hush. The pause gives the child's emotions space to settle, a quiet buffer before words or action. Research in co-regulation suggests that this kind of silent proximity is more than cultural habit, it is a biological reset. The parent's calm helps the child's brain find its own calm, even before a single word is spoken. When the silence breaks, it is not with correction, but with simple narration. The mother names the feeling without judgment. you are upset because your toy is gone. The child hears their emotion reflected back, not dismissed or argued away. This validation signals that it is safe to feel and safe to trust the adult's presence. No commands, no logic puzzles, just a mirror held up to the storm inside. The first moves are small, a shift in posture, a moment of quiet, a gentle label for big feelings. These are the cues that begin to turn public chaos into private calm, setting the stage for the next step, offering the child a sense of agency. A small choice appears between parent and child, quiet but powerful. The mother leans in, voice low, and offers a decision. Do you want to squeeze my hand or take 3 deep breaths together? The question is simple enough for a young mind to process, but meaningful because it hands agency back to the child. In that moment, the child is no longer swept along by emotion alone. Instead, they are asked to participate in their own calming, to choose a path out of the storm. Japanese parents rarely force a single solution. Instead, they frame small, manageable options. These micro-choices, like picking which hand to hold or whether to stand or sit, are not about distraction, but about restoring a sense of control. Research into co-regulation shows that even minor decisions can shift a child's nervous system from chaos to order, especially when paired with a parent's steady presence. As the choice is made, the parent's hand settles on the child's shoulder or back. The touch is deliberate, not hurried, a steady rhythm sometimes matching the child's breathing or heartbeat. This grounding touch acts as an anchor, signaling safety through the body before the mind can catch up. In studies of somatic regulation, rhythmic touch has been shown to slow heart rate and ease muscle tension, even in stressful environments. Micro-reactions unfold, a clenched fist loosens, shoulders drop, breathing slows, the child's gaze lifts, meeting the parent's eyes. In less than a minute, the cycle of distress has run its course, not by force, but through shared agency and physical reassurance. The reset is complete, leaving both parent and child ready to rejoin the world, calm, restored. Recent studies in developmental neuroscience help explain why a calm, present adult can halt a child's spiral into meltdown. When a parent lowers themselves to the child's level, the child's brain reads this as a sign of safety, not confrontation. Mirror neurons, specialized brain cells, pick up on the adult's steady breathing and relaxed posture, nudging the child's nervous system toward calm. Polyvagal theory describes how close, gentle presence activates the body's social engagement system, slowing heart rate and easing stress. Even brief moments of co-regulation, where the parent's calm is literally mirrored by the child, can shorten the intensity and duration of emotional storms. In cross-cultural observations, children exposed to consistent co-regulation have fewer and shorter public outbursts over time. The science suggests it is not the words or the timing that matter most, but the parent's ability to lend their own calm to a child in distress. Not every expert agrees that Japan's approach is a universal solution. Critics warn that when parents always act as the anchor, children may struggle to regulate emotions on their own as they grow older. In a culture so focused on public harmony, some worry that the drive to avoid embarrassment can silence a child's real needs. There are stories of children who appear calm in public, but later show anxiety or confusion about their feelings in private. The technique, when used as a quick fix or to avoid social shame, risks teaching children to perform composure rather than process emotion. In societies that prize independence, such close parental involvement may feel stifling or even counterproductive. The method works best in cultures where collective reputation matters, but it can falter if used without sensitivity to a child's need for autonomy and self-expression. In a world speeding past childhood storms, the real lesson isn't about tricks, it's about presence. No culture owns calm, but every child needs it. What we model in public shapes generations in private. The next 60 seconds you give may echo for a lifetime. What will you choose?